The Courtesan of Chocolat, a simple pastry, yet undoubtedly a central figure of the Grand Budapest Hotel. Herr Mendel may have taken the recipe to his grave, but there are those who have worked to keep the pastry alive and were unselfish enough to share their recipe. Alright, but I'm not actually this dramatic, so let's get to it. First, we start with making the choux pastry by taking the butter, water, salt, and sugar to a boil. Next, we add in the flour. The recipe says plain flour. We're gonna call it all-purpose flour. Now we cook that mixture for a few minutes on the stove, basically until the pastry sort of forms its own little ball and doesn't really stick to the pot anymore. Next, we add the eggs, which we do with a wooden spoon because the recipe says to. It's authentic. After all the eggs are added and we've made a smooth batter, we need to pipe out 3 different sizes of little balls onto a parchment-lined sheet tray. I didn't really count them, I just piped as many as I had the batter for. Next, set up your camera and film a cool time-lapse. Once they're a lovely golden brown, take them out of the oven and poke little holes in the bottom, very carefully. I was multitasking, so mine cooled down quite a bit, and I ended up breaking quite a lot of them. It's okay, you can't really tell once you fill them and cover them with frosting. Next, we need to make the chocolate pastry cream for the filling. This starts with heating whole milk and adding several large pieces of semi-sweet chocolate. Now, several large pieces isn't exactly an exact sort of measurement, so I just went to the grocery store and started looking for chocolate bars that were semi-sweet. After not finding any, I settled on this dark 71% chocolate bar, and I bought 3 of them, which came out to about 9.5 ounces of chocolate. And they can be easily broken into several large pieces. Hey look, I'm following the recipe! Go me! So while that's heating up, we're going to mix together the rest of our ingredients, which are the egg yolks, flour, sugar, cocoa powder, and a few spoons of cornstarch, which again is pretty vague. I think I used 2 tablespoons. And it says to mix that into a smooth mixture. Here you can see that working really, really, really well. It's okay, it'll be fine. Once the milk and chocolate are totally melted together, you can begin adding that to your extremely smooth egg mixture. If you add it just a couple spoonfuls at a time, you can save your questionable, not really mixed together egg mixture. Then we'll put that back on the stove and cook it until it becomes a thick custard. Now, since I'm trying to make all of this in one day and I don't have all day to wait for this custard to cool, I put it in a container, put some plastic wrap on top, and then put it in my freezer. And then once my custard was cool enough, I took it out of the freezer and realized I probably added too much chocolate because holy crap, it was really thick, but you know what? It tasted really good and it still works. So next, I filled all the cream puffs. Alright, the last thing we need to mix together is the icing. You want it to be runny enough that you don't just make a glob on top of the cream puff, but not too runny so that it all runs off when you set it down. Adding a little bit of vanilla helps give your colors actually a slightly vintage look, as well as makes them not taste like garbage because let's not lie to ourselves, powdered sugar and milk doesn't taste very good together. And let's try dipping one. Shake off the excess. Perfect. Now do all the rest. The largest puffs on the bottom are supposed to be lavender, the middle ones are green, and the very top smallest ones are pink. Let's keep it accurate. Once all your cream puffs are totally successfully dipped, take a little bit of the white icing and we're going to decorate the tops. There's no hard set rules for how they're supposed to be decorated. Even in the recipe, it just says to use the white icing as desired. So go nuts and do whatever you want. After that, it's time to assemble the little cream puffs, and if you're like me, you forgot to hit record on your camera, but it wasn't terribly complicated. I literally just sat them one on top of the other. I did manage to hit record, just as they were all managing to fall over. Yep, that was important to zoom in on. But I did manage to make one that looked very, very nice. Technically, all of these are supposed to get little cocoa beans on top, but once you realize that cocoa beans, or whatever they used in the movie, aren't exactly sold in most grocery stores, and you don't really know what to do instead because you don't have anything that really looks nice as a replacement, you just leave a white little dot on top and it works, it's fine. But I'm happy with it. It looks nice. So there we are, the Courtesan of Chocolat. Alright, let's go in for a nice cross-section. Or not. Okay. Whatever. These tasted really good. I was happy with that. Alright, thanks for watching. Subscribe for more, and I'll see y'all later. Bye!